Hello and welcome to Rugby Special from Riverside Park. Today it's two teams in the Premiership who know each other very, very well. JED-FOREST against Marr. But before we go up to the commentary, let's have a word with the coaches.
It's been an up and down kind of year in terms of the number of players that we've used, COVID and all the things. And every club's the same. It's not just our club, and I think it's hard. And I think next year it'll be hopefully much more settled in terms of what happens, and obviously I think the injuries of the players that have had this year, I think it's down to obviously like 2 years kind of out. So, but we're getting better at the moment, and we're on the upward curve. Obviously, hopefully that continues today.
And it wasn't that long ago before Marr were in the lower divisions. I mean, you've brought them up, and your team, of course, a lot of hard work with the players as well. But the whole club have gone from strength to strength, and that's fantastic to see.
Yeah, it has been. I mean, I think West, whatever, I can't remember, about 6 or 7 divisions down. So we've came up amazingly over that period of time, and now it's about maintaining that and keeping in a positive frame of mind and keeping in the Premiership. And obviously at the top end, that's where we want to be, but you can never guarantee anything. But the club has been outstanding in terms of the support, and we built on that through the school and everything as well. So we're fortunate we've got a sort of strategy that we're looking at, and it is Marr Rugby, so we encompass everybody, so it's not just down to the first 15.
Last home game for Jed this season. We've been trying to put something together the last few weeks. Got a good win against JHA a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, we're making a few changes today. Some of them are forced on us, some are experimental, just looking at something different. So we'll just have to see how it goes. But guys are confident. Let's see what we can put in today.
Well, lots of teams have tried, to work their way up the leagues and stuff and failed. So what's been the secret?
I think we've got a good community who support us, and we've got a lot of players that we've managed to progress through the club. As well as that, we've managed to recruit quite well as well. Not too many, because I think if you have too many, you lose the heart of the club. So, well, it's just a simple formula, and we've been fortunate to keep that going. And if you keep winning, it's a lot easier. And we bounced back well, actually, with the year when we went down from the Premiership to National 1 and then we won that league. I think that really was the year that kind of cemented us where we're at, because a lot of clubs, once they lose one, they struggle to get back, and we did it pretty much at that time, and all the players bought into it. But we have, as I say, everybody likes playing for us in the club and everything else, so that's a good thing.
We've got a couple of young players there, which again, some of them have been playing the last couple of weeks. I think up at Curry, we've bled some players since we played Curry, just bringing them in and seeing what these guys have got. And they've not let us down yet. Obviously, it's tough sometimes. We've been playing Curry, Marr. We've had quite a difficult run in, but the guys have been performing all right. Yeah.
Welcome along to Riverside Park, where we bring you Premiership action here on Borders Rugby TV, as Marr have travelled from the west to take on JED-FOREST in a game which means little to both teams, but they'll be both focusing on different goals, as Marr have already secured second place, but Jed have an eye firmly fixed on next year, and you can see that by their team. A big reshuffle in the backs and the forwards. They've got Lewis Young starting at 10 and Robbie Eurston returning to the team from New Zealand, and he's going to take the 12 jersey. But we were discussing off air, the back line have got an abundance of rugby talent, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them reshuffle as the game goes on. And in the forwards, they've went pretty heavy up front. They've got Andrew Sweeney, Paulo Ferreira and Craig Sweeney in the front row, and then everybody behind that is pretty much a second row anyway, apart from the addition of Finlay Scott at number 8, who traditionally plays in the hooker position. Marr, they're going to be missing Scott and Conor Bickerstaff. Conor has succumbed to an injury earlier on in the season, where Scott is being rested due to a hamstring injury, and they'll miss his 11 tries. But Douglas Steele will slot in at fullback, and Colin Sturgeon moves across to 12 to welcome back in Callum Ingalls, who is back from illness after missing the Hoyt game. And in the back row, there is the addition of Angus Johnson, who's been missing for a few seasons at Marr, and he joins his brother Ben in the back row for his first start of the season in what is a big pack from Troon, and a team which will be formidable up front. And Jed have perhaps tried to counteract with going heavy up front in the forwards. And the referee, Ben Blaine, gets play underway, and Lewis Young just pins that downfield, and it's been gathered by Marr. And Callum Ingalls, who's returned to the team this afternoon, picks it downfield, and it's into the hands of Finlay Scott now as he returns the kick with the ball in hand. And now JED-FOREST looking to try and use their burly runners to puncture this Marr defence, but earlier on it's been stripped there. A good turnover there from Blair Jardine as Marr go on the attack straight away, showing their power up front. And it's run loose from Marr's attack there as Jed now get the ball through hands. Robbie Euan finds Gregor Young, the captain. Gregor Young's got a couple of options and tries to go on the outside. And a cute pass to Rory Marshall, who does well to stay on his feet and fight. The ball has went back as Gary Munro looks to try and protect that, but no doing on this occasion as the pressure bundles in there from Marr, and again looking to counter ruck, but the captain Gregor Young manages just to kick downfield. There's good cover play there from Grant Baird, the scrum half, who's making his first start of the season for the visitors. He swoops on that loose kick there from Gregor Young, and now Marr look to try and steady the ship and get the platform. Ball secure here as Marr look to try and come down the blind side. It's hit the foot of Gregor Law, and he's all over that, but he's been met with a lot of pressure on the floor there. That was Craig Miller from Marr, who was all over the big back row. It was Gregor Paxton, the Marr centre. And now Stingle looking to try and keep it loose, and Skeldon now with the ball in hand, he pops it up to Gregor Young, and we can see perhaps a pattern of play here from JED-FOREST, looking to try and keep the ball alive and shift this big pack around the field here at Riverside Park. And Stingle, he finds Lewis Young out to Gary Munro to get his big boot on the ball. It's maybe not came off the way that he had liked on this occasion. And it's Sturgeon now who's found a little bit of space, a pocket of space in behind the covering Jed defence. Elder is putting boot to ball, and he's looking to try and turn his opposite winger Jack Scott. It's almost went off the field of play, and the flag is raised there by the assistant referee. It's going to be a throw into the line out for JED-FOREST, and it's been a pretty breathtaking start from both teams, both showing attacking intent, and Euan Welsh who's alongside me. It's certainly been Jed have came into this game looking really focused.
I'm out of puff just watching that, Dale. The ball was kept alive quite a lot, and JED-FOREST kind of had to take a wee bit early pressure, but they've managed to kind of play alright in their own hands, and now they've got a line out further up the pitch.
Throw into the line out is going to be Finlay Scott to throw in, with Paulo Ferreira starting at hooker, and he was the player looking to try and get down on that ball on that occasion, not able to. And a little coming together there, accidental offside. There's going to be a put into the scrum, and in these conditions, Iain Heard, it's, you know, that we were talking about the park being a little bit soft underfoot. It's going to be pivotal that the referee gets a handle on these two big packs.
Absolutely, I think scrum's going to be key. Obviously a few changes in the Jed front row. Be interesting to see how this goes. Maybe a bit slippy, but hopefully they've decent studs on. We can get some good ball in and away, and some decent rugby played.
Paulo Ferreira packing in at hooker, and Craig Sweeney, who's on loan from Kelso, is wearing the number 2 jersey in there. He's going to be the tight head. And you can see the pressure coming on there from Marr. It's a resistive effort there from JED-FOREST, but they are pinned back in the scrum, and Marr look to try and break free and break that defensive line, and a little break there from Callum Ingalls, who looks fresh after his illness, back into the starting lineup as we said before. And Marr looking to try and keep the tempo high. Sturgeon offering himself up at playmaker there as his centre partner Paxton looks to try and dance his way infield, but again a little unforced error, and that's the danger of Marr. They're not in second position for no reason. They've got these experienced, dangerous players in their backs.
Right, absolutely. I mean, you could see again that Marr had a go now at trying to keep the ball alive. They've tried their offloads a couple of times, that one's not really came off. But I think both teams will be trying to use their backs, because they've both got like very well experienced backs. You can see that in both lineups, and you just have to hope that the errors kind of slowly kind of iron themselves out.
Yeah, I think it's one of those games where there's not really a lot to lose for either team, and they're throwing caution to the wind in these early stages. Next thing to roll into the scrum, and it's a secure scrum there for Jed, getting it out quickly, and Finlay Scott now with the ball tucked underneath his right arm looks to just go direct, and now it's Lewis Young who's trying to find some open field and break this defence, trying to keep this dogged defence dislodged. And Marr well over that ball there as the bodies bundle in to try and secure the ball back. His play slows down slightly. The ball gets through the hands to Jamie Hind, who's standing pretty tall in contact, gets himself down to ground quickly. And Stingle now finds Young. Young finds his twin brother Gregor. Gregor hits Euan short as he gets his first opportunity to try and truck the ball up into contact. Has now came back on the Marr side, perhaps quite contentiously there, as it bobbled down the chest of the hooker Blair Jardine as he was lying in an offside position, but it's back on the Marr side, and they spill the ball over to the stand side here. And now some weaving run, weaving play, an open field, ball back inside. Marr have now disrupted this Jed defence, and they could go in for the opening score, and it is going to be the captain, Colin Sturgeon. A breakaway try, perhaps contentious because of the decision from the ruck. It was spilled straight over at the far side, and they dance in for the opening score here. It's Marr 5, JED-FOREST 0.
That was really interesting to see that just now as they broke away. They made it look so easy the way they've tracked the ball about there, but I think there's a couple of missed tackles in there that could have maybe avoided the try in the end. But look, Marr have shown all season that they can score from 9 plays, and now it's maybe a contentious decision, but they've played the whistle and they've come away with 5 points, and it could be 7.
Yeah, it was a slick break from Marr over in the stand side here at Riverside Park, and you can see the supporting lines that they were running in the trusted experience of the ex-Ayr and Kilmarnock player Colin Sturgeon. He was offering himself up for support to score in one of the sunniest parts of Riverside Park in the corner there, and he's got the chance to try and add the extras. Right-footed kick from Colin Sturgeon. That looks good on this occasion, so he adds 2 points to his try. There's 75 points from the boot for him this season. Lewis Young to get play back underway and pumps it back down into the Marr 22, and it's just returned back downfield, but it's a scruffy clearance kick as it pings off the top of the stand over on that far side. And it's going to be a throw in to the line out for Jed in an attacking position. And you wonder that one of the dangers of having such a big pack is and playing this high tempo rugby is the forwards have to keep pace with what the backs are looking to do as well and buy into that game plan. And it's going to be a dangerous thing for JED-FOREST to try and achieve. As Hind from the line out finds himself an open field and just bats off the wanting Marr defence. Good run, takes field position up towards the 22 now. In an open field, Dan Wardrop's got the ball in hand as Stingle recycles himself well here. And Andrew Sweeney with the ball in hand as it squirts out of the ruck there and looking to try and truck it up for the home side. There's going to be a penalty. Nick Stingle looks to go quick. He's taking the tap. He's looking to try and dance and weave his way out of some trouble. And Gregor Young's got the ball in hand, but he slipped just at the vital moment when he could have got the ball through the hands. No chance he could have twisted his body to try and get that ball away. And JED-FOREST now working hard to try and secure it, but has came back on a Marr side. They try and ping it downfield, and the chase is now on. Is the bounce going to be kind for Marr? It looks like it's came back on a Jed side as Gregor Young gets back and tries to just sweep up that loose ball, but that was danger for Jed. They almost got the ball into these wide exchanges, but you can see when they commit so many bodies to the attack, they kind of leave themselves exposed in behind. And now Craig Miller, perhaps not one of their quicker players, but he's a trusted ball carrier to secure the ball, and there's an acute line there from Robert Brown. He's been met with some stern JED-FOREST defence, and again an acute run into the heart of that defence, and it is the hooker returning to the starting lineup this afternoon, just splinters through the defence. He offloads to the returning Angus Johnson, and he is over for a score. And Marr again just making light work of this disjointed Jed defence, but the acute lines, Craig Miller, Blair Jardine, just running that tight line, and that's where it all stemmed from.
It's both tries now have been from really unsuspecting positions, and they've just kind of came from nothing. But I think it shows it's testament to this Marr team, who have all season have obviously worked mainly together, and so credit to Marr for their ability just to find the holes and run the lines that are catching Jed just unaware at the moment.
Sturgeon offered up another chance to add the extras, and he makes no mistake from the kick there to take the score to JED-FOREST 0, Marr 14 after 16 minutes here at Riverside Park. It looks like that is going to be the last involvement we're going to see for Craig Sweeney as he goes off the field for some further attention. Jamie Bowie, who's came on to the field to play here, and he's going to be tested here against this Marr scrum. This play does get back underway, and Nick Stingle just loitering beside the referee Ben Blaine and his opposite man Grant Baird. And a lot of pressure on this side of the scrum here, but it has came back on a Jed side, and Gregor Young getting the ball through the hands, and Rory Marshall finding himself off his wing, trying to create that overlap, and does well to generate some territory. And Stingle going up the blind side now. finding some supporting players to try and truck up, and Jed are having to work very, very hard for every carry into the Marr defence. And Stingle throwing the dummy there, looking to try and dislodge the guards here, and Euan offers himself up on a tight run, but they just run into a little bit of trouble there, but the penalty is going to come back on a Jed side. Yeah, Marr are very, very strong over the ball, coached very well by Craig Redpath, and they're accurate with their line out on this occasion as Blair Jardine manages to keep the ball a little bit straighter as they look to try and truck this up. And it is starting to squeak its way closer towards that Jed 22. It's still got go forward, it's still got momentum, but it grinds to a halt there as Sturgeon looks to try and find the runner there, but Robbie Euan met the man in ball. Now Gregor Young has got open prairie to try and run into. Is he got the legs here to go the distance and get a reply score for JED-FOREST? And it looks like he's going to have the legs there. Dots the ball down under a little bit of pressure from Marr, and it's a breakaway try, and it's a lifeline for Jed.
If there was any set of brothers you wouldn't want on the ball, a breakaway play like that, it would be the young brothers, and it's the other kind of challenge that Jed are going to have to take in this game. But I think it was Euan who put in the big hit that kind of dislodged the ball, and then it's the right person in the right place. They've managed to gather the ball and kind of scamper in. Fair play to Marr, they put on a bit of a chase, but there's no competition for the young brothers at the end of the day.
Definitely Gregor Young getting the score for JED-FOREST there. I think you're right in your analysis. I think they would have, perhaps, even though Paulo Ferreira has already got 10 tries this season, I think if it fell into his hand from the halfway line, they might have been a bit worried. But Gary Monroe has added the extras there as well, and now looking to go and pick and go, but they've been met with some huge defence there, and Bowie is putting himself about as he's came onto the field to play. A couple of quick tackle round the fringes there, thwarts any Marr attack, and Marr are quick to the breakdown there as they look to try and secure the ball and try and increase the tempo and put Jed under some pressure. And it's now been filtered over to the far side, and again it's into the hands of Jamie Shedden, and he looks to go round Gary Monroe, and he's done just that. Is he going to squeak it in the corner? And that is an excellent individual try for Jamie Shedden. And from this position it looked like he had no road to go, but manages just to weave his way in between the Jed defenders and stand up Gary Monroe, and the lanky rangy runner certainly had the legs on the Jed defence, and it's an instant reply from Marr. Missed
tackles like that, they're not going to do, it's not doing themselves any favours, and they've got such individual skills, it's hard for anybody to try and defend.
Now Stingle has got some players on his shoulder, none more than Andrew Sweeney. And Stingle looking to try and keep the tempo high as Marr are quick out the defence, and Ferreira again offering himself up as that attacking nucleus. And now Gregor Young, the try scorer for Jed, palms off one player, dances back in field, stays tall, finds Bowie in support, and a few more hands in there looking to try and claw the ball back on their side, but not on this occasion as Monroe spins the ball over to Elder, who's been relatively quiet in these opening exchanges, and he kicks the ball downfield, but has came back on the Marr side as they again look to attack from deep, and it's dangerous for Jed. They've conceded 2 tries over on that far side, and it is now the dummy from Sturgeon. He's got some support here, he's got the big man on the inside, and it looks like it is going to be Jordan McLean. He's got some support there, and it's a knock on from Marr when it looked like they were in for what would have been a certain score. And it is a kick downfield, and Jed relieve the pressure for the time being. And it's the fly half Ingalls who's returning the ball. Lewis Young was the man who fielded the ball, and looks like he could have ripped it back on their side. Skeldon is the beneficiary on this occasion as he's got the ball in hand and finds himself to ground with some Jed buddies round about him to secure the ball. And now Hind passes out the back door to Scott. Scott now finding Gregor Young over there. Again, the symbolic Gregor Young dance back in field. It wins the penalty, and it's came back on the Marr side, and it's the big second row David Andrew who again looks to try and splinter this Jed defence, and Jed getting very narrow, but it's not an accurate pass there as Sturgeon out the back to Ingalls. Ingalls does manipulate that 2-on-1, a little stand up there from the winger Jack Scott. He almost looked to go out and in, and then looked to go again, but Marr again doing well to stretch this Jed defence as they again pay another visit to the JED-FOREST 22. Sturgeon spins the ball over to the far side, It came into the hands of the earlier try scorer Jamie Shedden, and Marr now looking to try and go direct. You can see the try line now coming into view as they try and turn the screw. The hooker now looking to go direct, and that's a huge collision. And I think the referee signalling that there's an earlier penalty there.
Back for the penalty, yeah. The winger stepped inside it. I'm sure it's Lewis or Gregor, and he just stuck an arm out and caught him high. So penalty should be about the 5 metre line, just on the 22, I think.
And Jack Scott, and you can see, I think it's something now that the referees do allow a longer advantage for a penalty. You know, they do give the attacking team a very long benefit there, and from that occasion, because Jack Scott looked like he almost stood up Gregor Young, but the high challenge leads to this penalty, which has just been punted out off the field of play. And Jamie Shedden has perhaps not got as much room as he'd have liked on that occasion, as Craig Miller punches up, and Marr looked to try and go quickly, and now the hooker over the line in between the sticks, and Blair Jordan gets his score after creating one earlier in the game. The hooker gets over the whitewash there.
It was really interesting how that kind of came about. It looked like Jed had kind of won the ball, and then they won it back, and it seems like every player in the Marr side knows exactly what's going on with every play. They seem so orchestrated.
Sturgeon does add the extras. There's still a little bit of time to play in this first half, and Jed again look to just go direct and use the big runners, and Bowie there offering himself up as a dummy runner. Now they look to try and release the backs. Munro has found Elder over on that far side. Can he dance his way back in field? And he does. Offloads the ball to Gregor Young, looking to try and shift the point of contact and keep it alive, but he's been met with a lot of Marr defence, and the hooker is in there. Blair Jordan is in there, just turned over that ball, and now Marr look to try and go from deep. Can they stretch this Jed defence and end this first half on a bit of a fizz and a pop? And they bring the ball. Ingalls now, who's very seldom found himself in at the fly half position, almost found himself in at 13. And Marr again looking to use the Burley runners to try and just keep the Jed defence a little bit narrower. And Sturgeon noticing a little space in behind the defence there. Is it going to be kind, the bounce? It's not for them on that occasion. The referee is going to bring that back. Sturgeon to kick off the field of play from the penalty. He doesn't find touch on this occasion. All he's found is the covering Jed defence, but he'll get a second bite. But he filters the ball infield to the fullback Douglas Steele, as the Marr game plan looks like it is. Keep the ball wide, keep it alive, and it is now. Another interception there from Euan. Is it all? He just rips it from Robert Brown, and Lewis Young's chance now to try and capitalise on a Marr error, and that is a blatant offside there round the side of the ruck there from Angus Johnson. And Jed looked to go quickly. Now Lewis Young just ghosts the ball in the front of Hind and finds it to Marshall as he looked to try and drag him off the field of play. And now Scott standing up very tall into contact, and he's met with a very stubborn Marr shoulder and brought closer towards planet Earth again. But Jed do well to recycle the ball on this occasion, and it's been a pattern of their play so far in this game. They've done well to recycle, and then there'd be an error that creeps in as Paulo Ferreira sets up that platform yet again. And JED-FOREST pragmatic in their approach to trying to break down this Marr defence. Again, picking and going round the side of the ruck. The supporting players are there as Bowie now has got Paulo Ferreira there, and you can see the players just ghost out of the way as they see the big prop turned hooker ghosting down on them. And now is the opportunity to play wide through the hands of Gregor Young, and it now came to Gary Munro, but it went into a Marr hand. Can they capitalise on this? A big fend there, and it is Jamie Shedden chance now to try and sprint downfield and outstretch the Jed covering defence. Rory Marshall trucking back with every effort, but it's a second try for Jamie Shedden, and it's coast to coast for Marr. And as we said, Jed are pragmatic, they go through the phases, and these errors creep in, and Marr capitalise on this occasion.
Yeah, it's errors that have cost them, because that was really the first time that we've seen 4 or 5 phases in that half. And it looked like it was kind of getting somewhere. The play went wide, the errors there, and then it just seems effortless almost for the Marr side as they break down that far side. And to be fair, a couple of Jed players gave a bit of a sprint. It seemed like it could have been closer, but they hold up in defence, and then when the error happens, they're so quick, it's snappy, and just able to capitalise on 5, possibly 7 points.
Yeah, I think it's, it seems like it was about 40 minutes ago that we were actually saying both teams would be happy, as Sturgeon does add the extras, 4 conversions for him, and the referee does bring proceedings to a close for the first half. But just go back 10 minutes ago, we were discussing Jed and Marr will be happy with 7 points to 19. Jed had 7 points for their efforts, Marr on 19, but within the blink of an eye, Marr stretch into a 7 point to 31 point lead, and that is a Jed which you would say is perhaps insurmountable for the home side. But Marr going to the tunnel, the happier of the two, and I think Jed will be a bit disappointed with the way that they finished that first half. Ingles to get play back underway for the second half, a game that Marr are firmly in the driving seat, and it's a break from Finlay Scott straight away as he just ghosts past a familiar figure in Gordon Reid, who's emerged from the tunnel in this second half, the ex-Scotland international, 41 caps, adding a lot of experience to what has already been a dominant Marr scrum. But Gregor Young now looking to try and take his enforceful nature towards the Marr defence as he bounces off the Paxton's effort to try and defend him, but he gets a second bite at him and brings the captain down to ground as Jed look to go through the phases now. And the ball spun out wide there to Finlay Scott, who's met with Gordon Reid on this occasion. But Nick Stingle, quick to the breakdown, looking to try and recycle things and keep things moving as he gets himself to the next breakdown, as Skeldon looks to pick up from where he left off in the first half. He was carrying a lot, as was this man when he got the chance, Andrew Sweeney. But they were under immense pressure at the breakdown, and yet again they are met with some very stern Marr resistance as they turn over the ball and look to try and recycle it. They managed to find the captain Sturgeon there. And now another good run from Brandon Sweet. And the Marr scrum half of the ball looked like it was out there. A try scored in the first half. Blair Jardine picks up and tries to sweep up any danger there as Jed looked to try and put a little bit of pressure on the scrum half. And now it's spun wide. Ingles just with a cute little chip over the top there. A great offload from Marr, and it looks like it's going to be a score here for Steele. And that is an excellent try from Marr from what looked like was absolutely nothing. The cutest little kick from Ingles. A great offload as well from Robert Brown. And then into the clutches of Douglas Steele, and they go over for a score, and that is probably one of the nicest tries that you're going to see this afternoon.
It's just so effortless the way they're playing. There's think we kick over, catch it, pass it, run it over the line. It came from nothing, but it actually looks like it was almost like planned to happen because it was just so effortless that they scored it.
And it looks like it's another good effort here. JED-FOREST 7, Marr 40, and it looks like it could be a very long afternoon for JED-FOREST if this keeps up. Lewis Young to get play back. I'm sure he'll be sick of restarting play. He's offered a little short kick there, and it's bundled off the front of the Marr player, so it's came back on a Jed side. So good play from Lewis Young to go and mix it up a little bit, because he's forced the error from Marr. And now JED-FOREST looking to try and attack down the wings and recycle the ball there. And now Kieran Scott with another charge into the cluster of Marr players who are loitering around the close exchanges. And now Bowie doing exactly the same. I've been impressed with him coming off the bench. He's worked hard in the set piece and the loose. And Jed just going to the middle of the field and then looking to try and strike back the way the attack was coming from. Skeldon pivoting and finding Lewis Young in support, and he's just met with defence pretty much where he gathered the ball. And now Finlay Scott looking to try and find Hind, who's having to work hard to get down to the ground. And Stingle now looking to try and go lateral and find the gaps in this Marr defence, of which there don't look like there's a lot of them. And Euan again just trucking it up. He's certainly filled out since his trip to New Zealand. He's looking a lot stronger, and a little kick downfield gives Jed an attacking platform, but comes back for the penalty. Going to be a defensive line out for that man, Gordon Reid. As we said before, he's a lot of experience with Glasgow Warriors, Northampton Saints. He also rescued a man out of a burning building, so he's a very colourful character. They're a very colourful team, and he's going to give this line out and this Marr squad a lot of experience as they enter the closing stages of this Premiership campaign, as they look to try and put a little bit of pressure on Curry as they enter the playoff stages. Jamie Boy has been a very good player in this game. He's been replaced, and in a blink of an eye, Jed score from the line out. And it looks like Finlay Scott is the man getting the plaudits there. He's the man with the ball, and they look to go quick from the replacement. They joined the line out, and straight away they score a try, and it's another lifeline for JED-FOREST. You would imagine there's no way back into this fixture, and it's lobbed right back stretched into the hands of the Youngs, and now Euan looking to go infield and find some space. He's found a few Marr defenders, but does well, and it's now a little gap there as Gregor Young looks to try and dance back in field. It looked like the Marr defence was at sea on that occasion, just can't strike quick enough as the scramble defence gets back. Now Lewis Young lobs the ball over the head. Gary Monroe now looking to try and kick downfield and make a foot chase of it. Is the bounce going to be kind? It is very kind on this occasion, and just not able to relieve himself of the Marr defender. And there's going to be a penalty.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be a card, and you'd say from there it's on the right occasion.
Absolutely.
We're going to have to keep our eyes alert here, because Jed certainly like to catch us on the hop, but they've got a penalty. Wasting no time and going quickly here as JED-FOREST set up the platform, and they go round the corner, and Dougie McNeil, the replacement for JED-FOREST, looks to try and get himself over the line. It looks like JED-FOREST are over the line. It wasn't Dougie McNeil, but it looks like it's Clark Skeldon is the player getting from the bundle of bodies. And is it possible JED-FOREST can get their way back into this game, Euan?
I was just about to say before that it was really important this time that once Jed scored, it was time for them to weather their storm for a bit, and they've crossed over the line.
A player on the ground, Paulo Ferreira, certainly been pivotal to JED-FOREST this season with his 10 tries. And you know, when things aren't going well, when you've got a front row forward who can score 10, a prop. Traditionally a prop who can score 10 tries, it's certainly a weapon that you want to try and keep on the field of play, especially when Mark can bring the likes of Gordon Reid off the bench. But he's up on his feet now. A slight hobble, but I think it'll take a lot for him to leave the field of play, but it looks like he is going to. He's been escorted off past the cluster of JED-FOREST players, so there's going to have to be another little reshuffle, and I think Jed are slowly but surely running out of options. It looks like Paulo Ferreira is going to come off the field of play, and it's going to be a return to the game for Jamie Hind. And now Curran McMillan, the replacement ex-British Army rugby player, has got his first introduction to the opposition this afternoon as he's came off the bench. Now Sturgeon, he just ghosts past the Russian Jed defence, and then it looked like it was a high effort there from Gregor Young, but Marr might benefit from it, and it looks like it's going to be a hat-trick try over on the far side for Jamie Shedden. And again, they just manipulate that wing, get the ball through the hands, and the on-rushing Jed defence just can't cope with his pace this afternoon. A big rangy runner, but he gets his third try.
They slow it down slightly, and then all of a sudden it's just like bang, and a couple of offloads, take it to the side, and as you say, Jed were coming in a lot of men to the breakdown area, and there was opportunity wide, and right after they've scored in that corner. He's
a big laddie, to be fair. He's a tower, and you wouldn't misplace him for a second row as well, but he's got pace to burn, and he's exhibited that very well this afternoon. And the line out's accurate there. Sturgeon just ghosting behind the Reid, and then the hat-trick hero just sliced through yet again off the line out. And what a move that is from Marr. Trundles under the posts, and that's probably the easiest one he's had all afternoon, but he'll take that. 4 tries for Jamie Shedden, and that's now the 50 mark for Marr. 4 tries for Shedden is a great return at Riverside Park, and it's going to be one of those afternoons for JED-FOREST. Little glimmers of hope, and then they just are shown the level that you need to be at the top of the Premiership to compete with these teams.
It's a bit disappointing because Jed were probably managing the second half alright. We've mentioned that a few times, but that just a little kick that was probably just a fraction went wrong is now cost them the 7 points.
And it looks like Hind is on the floor, so a little replacement there, and perhaps not like for like replacement, because Hines went off, and they're having to really go to the well to try and stitch together this team.
One of the young brothers is at to go into scrum, I think.
I think he's going to pack down Gregor Young at number 8, and we're moving uncontested as well.
I think, yeah. It's a shame that Jamie Hines carried the ball really well. A lot of good little breaks, half breaks.
Yeah, he has played well, but it's always a bit unfortunate to see uncontested scrums, but I think the game itself is perhaps slightly away as the play is kicked downfield, and Colin Sturgeon, he kicks the ball into the air, and it's Nick Stingle underneath it. Gary Monroe, he's got the ball over to the players returning to the field to play, Elder, and he manages just to evade the clutches of the first challenge, and he's made a little break here, looking to get the offload. You can tell he's a JED-FOREST guy if he's looking to play that sort of brand of rugby. It's immersed in these players. Keep the ball alive, try and keep it going and the momentum going. And now Kieran Scott yet again looking to try and truck it up, but it's been dislodged in contact, and I think it's been judged to be knocked on by Marr. And the ball's rolled into the scrum there, and Gregor Young picking up from number 8, believe it or not, and he makes some good inroads and finds Robbie Eurston on the crash ball. And now Skeldon has been targeted slightly by Marr this afternoon when he's got the ball in hand. There's usually a couple of players lurking around him. They know his danger. He's a skillful big guy, and he's not been able to exhibit it too much in this fixture, but Curran McMillan working hard to try and secure that ball. But there's going to be another penalty for JED-FOREST, and Stingle goes quick, and now the outside centre stroke number 8 Gregor Young got the ball in hand, and now it's looking to go wide, and that's great hand from Eurston. He's found Elder's looking to try and pin the lugs back and go. He dances back in field, keeps it alive, and it is the replacement, Dougie McNeil. He's been met with a lot of resistance there from ours. They look to try and keep him high, but he's done well to get a knee on the ground. And Skeldon now got a little bit of space to try and ghost in between two players. A more secure, more solid ball, and Kieran Scott yet again, I don't think he's got much care for his body. He goes in very tall to contact, and he's been chopped down there. The ball's been dislodged, but Jed just showing little glimmers of what they can do. It's the consistency which frustrates you. I wonder if they'll be lifting Gregor Young here.
He's tall enough.
He's a man of all trades. He's having a little conversations to see, and he's I'm not the greatest at lip reading, but he did say, "Where do you want me?" So he's obviously wanting to try and add his effort to the. I cannot believe they've just lifted him, but they have, and Gregor Young not able to get a hand to that ball in the line out. But that's something he's not going to be too strange with. He's been lifted in sevens before. It's a great effort there from Gregor Young to be lifted in the line out, and now Skeldon. He trudges it up again, gets the ball back, and now Gregor Young looking to try and pick and go. And he's got himself to ground now as Stingle recycles the ball and gets the ball to Wardrop, who's been industrious with the ball in hand. As Gregor Young has a little conversation with Gordon Reid off the ball as play goes up to the 10 metre line, and Marr now looking on the attack, looking to try and go through the two players as Robert Brown looks to try and break free from the Jed defence, and there's a little gap in there. You could see the dog leg, it was huge, and it's a great break there from Nairn Calder. And now the gap is there, the 2-on-1 has been manipulated, and I think this is going to be an obvious try there from Marr. And from deep inside their own half, it is St John Broad who goes in for the score. And it was a try which Marr didn't have to work too hard for. The dogleg defence just, exposed JED-FOREST on that occasion. And once they were in behind, it was, it was only going to be one outcome.
As you say, they've not had to work too hard. Initially, they've had to work hard to get inroads in behind the defence. But then it's what should arguably be more difficult has become more easy for them.
And it's another successful conversion attempt for Colin Sturgeon. But JED-FOREST do well to get the ball back on their side and do well to protect it as well, because it looked like they were slightly isolated there. But Gregor Young playing scrum half, illustrating to the spectators here this afternoon that there's probably not a position he can't play. And it's going to come back again on a JED-FOREST side, and now it's his twin brother Lewis Young. He's found Kieran Scott. I don't think he'll be looking to offload here, but he does. And now Gary Monroe putting boot to ball. And it's a good kick there from the fullback because it's got the good weight on it. It gave a good chance to chase the play, but it's going to be full time here at Riverside Park, and it's a heavy defeat for JED-FOREST. They certainly came out in the second half showing a little glimmer of hope, getting the two tries after an excellent try from Marr, but it is going to be Marr, who run away with a very comfortable and secure win here, and the Jed players give the applause to the Marr opponents. They'll be disappointed with the scoreline, perhaps can take little glimmers of hope from this defeat, but in the end it is Marr who run away big winners here at Riverside Park in the Premiership on Borders Rugby TV, and it's Jedforest 17, Marr 59.
We're really pleased with that, really nice day, so it was good to get the ball thrown about, and you're playing Jed who are going to want to chuck it about as well, so the game became pretty broken, but yeah, we were pretty clinical. We made a couple of mistakes, we could have scored a few more in the first half, but really good stuff. I thought we been working quite a few things, and we probably took it into that coming out of the business end of the season, so yeah, pretty happy with the performance, and the scoreline was good down here. With a couple of challenging games down here before, so really good to get a good win and then bounce into the playoffs now.
And a word about Jamie Shedden, 4 tries.
Yeah, Jamie's been really good for us. He's good to see him today, just having a go, backing himself down the wing. We're talking about getting the ball to him early, give him a chance, which is quality. We want him to hit his straps now and come into the business end of the season. So hopefully we can get him firing, get a couple of other boys back in the back line, and yeah, we really want to bounce into these sort of playoffs. Pretty tough now, with a few weeks off, but I'm sure we'll work hard in training and be prepped, ready to go come that pretty sure it's Hoyt game on the 26th. So good time, rest up the body, and we'll be good to go.
It's a good warm-up for that.
Yeah, very much that. We obviously played Hoyt, very different game a couple of weeks ago, so we'll be we'll be really focusing on that game, and it'll bring different challenges, physicality, and Hoyt obviously play a different sort of style of the game, so yeah, we'll have to work on some other things, and then sharpen up those line-outs, work on our scrum, so we can get that platform to be able to attack, because that was a struggle area the last 4 us against Hoyt.
We're probably not 100% strength in depth just now at the club, but then you had guys like Kieran Scott playing his first game. I thought he was outstanding today. He tackled everything, carried hard, and then you had other guys like Tom Cromarty, Bowie coming in there, Robbie Hewson first game back in 2 years. So the boys, they did stick in, although the score doesn't really reflect it.
Good to see some youngsters coming through from the Thistle, etc., and some of them making their debuts today, and that's the future.
It is the future, and we've got a young side, and I would like to think that they would be here for a good number of years, and hopefully kind of start, trying to leave a legacy for themselves, and maybe pushing on and trying to compete in the Premiership. So fingers crossed anyway.